Hi, I'm Jared Martin, and this is my AP Biology project on viruses. Computer viruses are actually called this because they share similar traits to biological viruses. A computer virus requires a host in order to work and damage the computer, which will then send the virus to other parts of the computer, thus affecting the entire computer. Here we see just two types of viruses that are very common and well known in society, including hepatitis, which can be found A through E, as well as the rhinovirus, which is more commonly known as the common cold, which a lot of people get in the wintertime. And in this video we'll learn what a virus actually is, give examples of various viruses, differentiate between airborne and contact diseases, explain how viruses work, explain the differences in a virus and a bacterium, and give various pop culture references to viruses. And viruses are very small because they're not made of very much, so you need an electron microscope to see them in society. And they're made of a small amount of DNA or RNA, which is their own nucleic acid, and they might have a stolen protein coat, which they steal from the host cell that they infect. And they are not a living organism because they do not demonstrate all of the major characteristics of life. But this topic has been debated by the scientific community for some time. And viruses thrive by living off host cells, into which they inject their DNA and have the cell reproduce, thus having the viral DNA replicate in the process. And since viruses are so capable of adapting and mutating to resist vaccines, yearly flu shots are necessary in order to fight the viral strands that are new each year. And here we see a few examples of viruses out of the countless list of viruses that are available across the world. As I mentioned before, we have rhinovirus and hepatitis A through E, as well as West Nile virus, which can be found in mosquitoes, which are notorious for transferring viruses and other pathogens between humans by sucking blood from one and passing it to another human. Another virus is HIV, or the human immunodeficiency virus, which causes AIDS. And two examples of people who have or had HIV are Freddie Mercury, the former lead singer of the band Queen, as well as Irvin Magic Johnson, a well-known basketball player of the LA Lakers. Influenza is a very broad virus because it covers many other subcategories of viruses, such as H1N1, which is swine flu, which was found in the later part of the 21st century, as well as H5N1, or the avian flu, with human illnesses coming from birds found in China, as well as Ebola, which has been found in numerous cases in West African countries, and as of recent has developed in the United States and is trying to be kept as minimal as possible. And in many cases it seems that viruses are often passed from animals, with scientists agreeing that 3/4 of new human diseases have originated in other animals. And two ways diseases are transferred from host cell to host cell is either by airborne or by contact. Airborne diseases are spread through microbes in the atmosphere, which attach to either dust or water vapor or various other particles commonly found in the atmosphere. And these pathogenic microbes are ingested by other organisms in the surrounding area, where one of the two viral cycles, which we will see in the upcoming slides, occur. And contact diseases are spread through physical contact, either by directly touching the host itself or by touching something in the host's environment. And viruses work by needing a living host cell, and they have an entry of DNA into this host cell, where the virus is then able to manipulate the cell and make it replicate its own viral DNA. And in this process, then, more viruses are produced inside of the cell. This lytic cycle is different to the other viral cycle because This involves the cell opening up, which is seen in the suffix lysis, which actually means to open, and it causes the host cell to die by opening up and simply not being able to function anymore, and the pathogens inside will be released into the environment, and this entire process continues on and on and on. The other viral cycle is known as the lysogenic cycle. In both viral cycles, the cell receives the DNA from the virus, and the cell and viral DNA are both copied. However, in the lysogenic cycle, the host cell does not die and reproduces with the viral DNA. But eventually, some outside environmental stress will cause the lytic cycle to happen, even if the lysogenic cycle has been occurring for countless decades. And the difference between viruses and bacteria are that viruses are considered non-living, as again they do not have the characteristics of life, and they only contain some DNA and RNA surrounded by a protein coat, whereas bacteria are living organisms, prokaryotic cells, with ribosomes, chromosomes, etc. And bacteria can be a host cell to viruses, like animal cells or plant cells can be a host cell. Yet both viruses and bacteria can be infectious and deadly to human beings and other organisms through viral and bacterial infections. And here are several examples of viruses being seen in the media, including the movie Outbreak with Dustin Hoffman, Rene Russo, and Morgan Freeman, as well as an episode of Jimmy Neutron which featured bacteriophage, and the movie Contagion, which is more recent. And a simple tip to always remember whenever you're outside in public is to always wash your hands and cover your mouth when you sneeze so we all don't catch diseases and die, because even the slightest amount of common courtesy makes you look like a good person and prevents diseases from spreading from human to human. And that concludes my biology video on viruses. I hope you liked it, and have a nice day.